TikTok. His first post on the popular social media app showed him at home watching the Super Bowl, along with the caption, "LOL, hey guys." Many GOP lawmakers have taken aim at the app over possible connections to the Chinese government. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Ho, 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 and let it snow, and all the rest of that stuff, I'll tell you. Hi there. Dave Richards here in the chair where Joe Callahan usually is. Hello, Joe Callahan, usually not where he is on the telephone. Hello, Joe.
Hello there, Dave, and good morning, everyone.
Yes, and who do you have there on the telephone with you?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Hello, Linda.
Hello. Hey, Joe.
Linda's here. Hi, Linda.
We need you to speak up a little louder there, Joe. Make sure you're nice and loud.
All right, I'm right over here.
There you go. All right, so we have Linda Tebow on the telephone, phoning in from what she has described to me off-air as a winter wonderland of North Smithfield, where all the trees are bedecked with beautiful glistening snowflakes. And it's just a Currier and Ives things. And Linda says, I'm not coming to the radio studio. I'm going to sit and look at the trees.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing, and it's very beautiful here. Very beautiful.
All right. So, Joe, we've spoken to you a couple times this morning, but the Coffee Ann listeners didn't get a chance to know that. You've already got, most of an inch of snow where you are in Massachusetts nearby?
No, not quite even an inch just yet. Maybe a half an inch of snow.
We've got well over an inch of standing snow here.
Okay, and the roads are still just wet, so not quite sticking to the roadways yet.
We're slushy. We got the plows out. They're moving the slush around, stuff like that. And Melissa Murray has joined us in studio.
Good morning, everyone.
Hearty soul she is.
I walked. It is beautiful out there right now.
Yeah, and of course, Melissa didn't have to drive, because she lives here in the district, as she aptly puts it.
0.3 miles away from the studio.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a nice, beautiful short walk this morning.
Great.
Brisk. I noticed that you were walking up with your pink umbrella.
I did use an umbrella. I don't know who used an umbrella in the snow, but it works.
I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but you look like a mixed drink coming up to up the walkway down Park Avenue. Just fooling around here, just a little bit of levity. But folks, I don't think I have to tell any of you responsible folks out there to be extra careful in exerting yourself with the snow and shoveling and everything else like that. What you see right now, there's no reason why Joe couldn't have got here and why Linda couldn't have got here. But the facts are that later on, we're expecting snow coming down an inch or two an hour at that rate. And so getting back would be a slippery mess. And hey, listen, you don't have to if you get the telephone, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
And so it's not like they're little fraidy cats that wouldn't want to come out in just what we have out there now. It's the later on that we're concerned about because of the timing of the storm.
Right.
And like that. And, of course, Melissa knows if it gets too bad, I'll drive her back home.
Well, I could
Awful nice of you, Dave.
That is very nice. I probably could walk fast.
It's all downhill from here.
That's true.
All I have to do is get out the ON toboggan and pretend I'm steering.
I'll just get on it and sled down Park Avenue.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, that takes care of that there. We do have a message that we have to put on the radio for Ed Carew, who did not make it today. He's the only one of the usual Tuesday morning crew that did not show. And, of course, he's the one that has to come the furthest distance. So let's play a recorded message. What do you think, Joe? Good idea?
Yeah, it's an excellent idea, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group, 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. Our telephone number is 765-8880. At the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal management of investment accounts, and depending on what you're looking for, we can create a portfolio that provides you with current income invest for growth for the future, and of course, our primary focus, which is managing retirement money from client rollovers of their 401k plan after they leave the workforce. Whatever your goals are, we can put together a program to assist you. And remember, I've been in the business of investing for clients for over 30 years, helping people just like you with their investments. So call me at 765-8880. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Thank you, Ed Carew, virtually. All right, back to the phones, and to Melissa here in the studio, who's brewing herself up a nice cup of coffee, because this is Coffee Ann. We do offer coffee. The Ann is generally conversation.
But sometimes
Because nobody was eating the donuts, and we had to keep sending them off to...
oh, no.
Really, every day we'd have to drive the donuts down to Because He Lives, because I refused to throw them away.
Right.
You know, and of course that was a few years back, friends, as you know, because now it's new beginnings. But it was something that we had to do. All right, well, what does anybody want to talk about? Joe, we haven't discussed the Super Bowl with Linda yet. Is that something that you were looking forward to doing today?
Well, I was just going to ask Linda if she watched it. I'm sure she did. And were you happy with the outcome, Linda?
I did. And remember, I predicted that the Chiefs, not that I wanted them to win, but I predicted them that they would, and they did. But what a game, huh? Overtime to the 11th hour there. Wow, it was very exciting.
It's the kind of game you would expect when you take the two best teams in the league and put them on the field in front of each other at the as a climax of the season. So I mean, they both had their strengths and their weaknesses. They both made adjustments as they went along. Kansas City even got to the point where they were started to look a little down. And I recall in the television coverage, one of the players, I don't know, do they have captains on football teams? But anyway, one of them took it upon themselves to come over and do a little impromptu huddle on the sidelines, saying, okay, listen, we're beating ourselves. Things are not going right. Refocus, start again. We've got this, and we can come from behind and win. And indeed they did.
That was one of the defensive captains that called everybody over.
There are captains, yeah.
The defensive department, yes. Okay, listen to me.
Well, when you see Mahomes get tackled 2 or 3 times, you say to yourself, "All right, defense, wake up."
Yeah.
So I did want to bring something up related to the Super Bowl, and I talked to Melissa and John Ward about it yesterday. I want to see if Linda caught it yesterday, not on Sunday. I mean, during the broadcast, and it was the commercial for Robert F. Kennedy. Do you remember seeing it, Linda?
Yes.
Okay. So we talked about yesterday about how odd it was and like that. And I don't know if anyone's heard, but RFK came out and apologized to his family for that ad.
Yeah, well, it was in poor taste, yeah. I thought.
Yeah. Well,
seriously, I loved it. I love old jingles and old commercials and stuff.
Oh, I love the...
I go to our website and listen to the McCarthy's jingle every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out Robert Kennedy didn't put this ad out.
No, he didn't. It was a pact. It was plainly marked at the end. It was a political action committee that want to support him, and they bought the time and put it in.
Yeah.
Did you see his apology, though?
No, I didn't see that.
I heard about his apology. I didn't see it. Yeah.
Did you see it, Melissa?
I did not.
Okay, this is a quote now. He goes, "I'm so sorry if the Super Bowl advertisement caused anyone in my family pain. The ad was created and aired by the American Values Super PAC without any involvement or approval from my campaign. FEC rules prohibit Super PACs from consulting with me or my staff."
That's right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's right. It has to be completely independent.
It does.
Yeah. And
So
I guess
any well-heeled group has the legal, if they have the wherewithal, they have the legal ability to put together an ad supporting any candidate or proposition they want. But that's why you would always hear at the end of a political ad, paid for by, because it always has to be. And it was this time, and it was a political action committee.
I didn't catch
I don't
that.
remember the name of it, but they got their point across. And if it's the candidate themselves and their voice appears on it, it's always paid for by. And if it's a federal candidate, they also have to say, "I approve the content of the message." That's those are the FCC rules that we all live by here in over-the-air broadcast, and cable as well. Pay cable has to also live by the same rules. And then, so it was very plain to me. But I mean, I remembered that jingle. Linda, maybe you did too. The other two here on the panel, I'm sure, are too young and beautiful to remember when that commercial came out in 1959. Mm-hmm. But I remember seeing it on TV.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't?
No,
watch TV, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I do remember it, and it was cleverly they put today's candidate that they were supporting in the boxes where JFK's picture and likeness would have been, and that.
But I've had that happen to me where a PAC sent out a mailer, and I didn't know about it. I'm not supposed to know about it. It's prohibited. Were
they for you or against you?
They were for me.
Yeah.
And they put out a mailer, and I happened to see it sticking out of someone's mailbox while I was canvassing doors, and I said, well, "What is this?" Yeah, they're not
Really?
They're not allowed to do that.
I'm curious why Linda said she thought it was in poor taste. Can you elaborate on that?
No, I just I just thought it was in poor taste to put this candidate's face on his uncle's.
Yeah.
I think everybody thought a lot of JFK, and to use him in a.
Hello, right in the middle of a sentence. There she is, gone. Come back if you can hear me there, Linda. Joe, are you there?
I'm still here.
Yeah. Lost Linda Tebow.
Oh, all right. Well.
Yikes. Well, hopefully she'll come back and I was listening with rapt attention to her comment. Hopefully she'll be back before long.
Most of the Kennedy family has come out against this ad, by the way.
Have they?
Very upset about it. Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, a lot of the Kennedy family has come out against the candidate. So.
Well, that's true. They don't agree with Robert Kennedy Jr. at all.
Yeah.
Well,
the apple has fallen kind of far from the tree in this.
Tree, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's one in every family, isn't there?
Yes,
we all have
correct.
to live with them.
Right.
All righty. Well, all right. So let's take this opportunity here to take a second message from Ed Carew and the Carew Investment Group. Before I push the button for that, I will remind everybody that we are on short staff today. So if you have a comment or a quip or something like that, make it concise, and one of us will leave the studio to write it down and bring it back into the panel for consideration. We expect Linda will be returning to the panel by telephonic activity in just a few moments. And for those who are very concerned about this, and you shouldn't be because he's an amazing man, Gary Smith is already here for his show coming up in an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes.
So fret not, friends. There will be a Do You Remember today.
This is Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group, 765-8880, with some simple advice about investing. The truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends, lasting for days, weeks, and months or longer, are gone. Sometimes trends last only part of a day before changing direction. Investing is not an activity for those who cannot take the time to study and see each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, I've seen them all, and I'll invest your money the same way I invest for myself. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with me. So call me, Ed Carew, at 765-8880 right here in Woonsocket. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
All right, back here on Coffee and on ON AM and FM radio with Melissa Murray over there underneath
Good
the
morning.
snow umbrella. And on the telephone line, Joe Callahan is there from his spacious domicile. And Linda Tebow got so caught up in the snow, she dropped the phone. That's not true either, is it? Say something, Linda.
It's hard. It's snowing harder here and getting even more beautiful. And I'm sorry, my landline kind of just said goodbye.
I guess it did, huh?
Yeah, midstream too, mid-sentence.
All righty. Well, listen, we did receive another telephone call during the break, and the caller on the other end put on their Don Kent weather hat and said, this will all be over by 11 o'clock. So immediately, of course, I went and checked the latest update on the wire, and it says snow mainly before 3, ending by 7.
That's the latest
6 to
weather
10
I
inches
saw,
possible, with a howling north wind up to 35 miles an hour at one point or another, with snow could be heavy at times. Right now, I would say this is a moderate to heavy out there right now. If you could take a look at what we're streaming on the TV, you'll see big old flakes.
Little heavier than when I came in 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right.
It's
so
heavier here too, Dave. Much heavier here than it was when we were speaking before.
Well, there you go. That's the way it goes in the old weather game. So, Linda, you were in the midst of explaining to us why you thought everything was in poor taste here with that ad. And I didn't mean for you to be cut off on that, but I didn't do it.
No, and that's okay. And as I said, that's my opinion. I think, JFK was held in such high regard, and the whole piece about, he apologized to family members, and, having lost a family member in a very bad way, anything that, these things bring back bad memories, and I think, JFK was held in such high regard to be used in a commercial, a television commercial. I thought it was a little seedy. I didn't like it. But that's my opinion.
Okay. Well, I understand. It's been so many years, of course, since we lost JFK. My initial reaction was, hey, isn't that something? I'll have old jingles. And I says, I wonder why he's putting that on. And then at the end, it said it was a pack. So I said, oh, now I know. Because I'm saying to myself, how does a dark horse candidate get $7 million to throw an ad on to say nothing of the expenses of producing? Because here's something else that not everybody figures. They all hear the number $7 million for a 30-second ad on the Super Bowl. That's an average. Some are more if they're at a certain point in the game. Some are less if they're like during another part of the game that's not so well watched. But an average is $7 million. Okay, so you fork over $7 million, but it's going to cost you in 6 figures at least to produce the ad and give it to the network to run. How much money do you think it took for that Dun Kings ad that ran on the Super Bowl there, where you had Tom Brady and Matt Damon, Ben Affleck,
and J-Lo.
And Jennifer Lopez, who is the real life wife of Affleck, who gave them a poor review, as I recall in the ad. So, how much do you think it cost the production company to get those people to do that ad and produce it? Because I can tell you that level of production, just to have the grips, the director, the writers, the music rights, locations and assistants and makeup and lighting and camera, all of that stuff is costing you 5 figures already. Then you got to pay the talent. So you're looking easily at 6 figures to do the ad and then put it on the air. So that was quite something. Now, what you all might not know, except those of you who are really astute on social media might have caught wind of this already, if you weren't looking at the storm, that is, that the company Dunkin', please don't call us Dunkin' Donuts, although we advertise donuts, is jumping on the success of their Super Bowl commercial on Sunday night. And we all just told you about what the ad was. Meantime, yesterday, the orange and pink tracksuits that the actors wore, along with fuzzy bucket hats, went on sale yesterday afternoon at the website shopdunkin.com for fans
Melissa's already got one.
I wore it in.
For fans who wanted to look like an official member of the Dun Kings squad. However, bad news, they sold out very quickly and are completely sold out now.
So they're going to make all their money back that paid for the ad.
Well, you know something?
They might.
Who can plan this? But they did. So anyway,
so someone's like, I want the one that Matt Damon wore. I mean, I'm sure that's wild.
Well, it is wild. And you know something, it's just like having a wonderful restaurant. You can make your plans, you can invest your money, you can do everything under the sun, but some things click with the public and some things just don't. They just don't click the same way. I mean, I had a conversation with a listener who called in today and just had to gush over one of our restaurant advertisers. And I agree with them. But they were just gushing about how wonderful the place was and like that. And this is a place who I think we'll find out as the month wears on has done very, very well and is due for honors, without getting too much into letting things out of the bag. But I'm saying that, wow, that some things just click, and that ad just clicked. And like that. I'm not even particularly fond of the management of Dunkin' these days because they operate like a venture capital company, and we know that venture capital companies should never be in a service business. Because it's not about service. It's about wringing every nickel they can out of their victims.
Right.
And they don't have customers, they have victims. So we get that. It's a fact of life. What are you going to do about it? So anyway, but heck, it's when you get something that clicks, you get something that clicks, and that's just the way it is.
And in 5 years, when someone's walking around with that outfit, no one will know the relevance, and they'll just say, what is
nice
that?
Outfit.
I paid $2 million for this.
Put it in the closet for that Roaring 20s costume party in 2045.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, you know, things have changed an awful lot. Have you noticed? On our broadcast this morning, this announcer felt way out of place because I come from the Salty Brine School of cancellations. No school, fasta glass, and all the rest of that. This was a momentous occasion. While we have trifled with it in the past, this is the first major snowstorm that we didn't spend 20 to 30 minutes at a time going through and reading the cancellation lists. And I have to tell you, I was a little fish out of water this morning, not doing that, feeling like I wasn't doing my business, until I talked with Paul Pelletier, who is supervising the website, saying, "We are getting slammed." And because he's responding to these little outage reports. And it's because people are going to WoonsocketRadio.com and we are getting slammed. And he's having to make all kinds of adjustments to it so everybody can get what they want. And yet it should run nice and smoothly when people aren't all bashing it over the internet head and like that. So, but things change. And so there was no time that I read the entire list of all the school things. And I reason in my brain that 2024, you don't have to, friend. 2024, people are tuning in for something different than that. 2024, how many people who don't have kids in school are going to shut you off and go to listen to another radio station when you are spending 4 minutes alone on all the public, private, Catholic charter schools,
daycare, et
right,
cetera, et cetera, et
all the
cetera.
rest of that stuff.
And there's a lot of them. They started early yesterday.
Yeah, there are. I actually printed it out, Melissa, and altogether there were 16 pages of cancellations, not double spaced. This is all small spaced, single spaced. 16 pages printed out on the printer from the website. And I said to myself, we're going to die trying to do that.
Right.
So, to say nothing of the time it would take to just do the relevant ones for Northern Rhode Island.
Right.
So, so anyway, there you have it. And so things have changed. And I just thought I'd bring that up because when we come back from the break, we'll talk about how things have changed even more with television and how the landscape has changed so much from the time that Kennedy ad first ran in 1959 to the time that it ran on Sunday night. All right, so may I have a motion to recess for a few moments to go to a break?
So moved.
So moved by the senator from Woonsocket, North Smithfield. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. We'll be back.
As we get closer to Valentine's Day, you know what happens to the price of flowers? That's right, they go up. Now, this is how you avoid it. Order your Valentine's Day flowers today from Belos Flowers, and you'll pay today's price. If you wait even one more day, the price may increase. Belos Flowers has roses ranging from 1 to a dozen or even more. They also have wildflower bunches, either wrapped or in arrangements, and carnations too. Stop the music. Belos Flowers for Valentine's Day also has many indoor plants to choose from, including dish gardens and potted orchids. Okay, start the music. Belos Flowers even has balloons, stuffed animals, and candy to round out that perfect Valentine's Day gift. Order your Valentine's Day flowers today and avoid this. Call or stop by Belos Flowers, 665 Diamond Hill Road, Woonsocket. And remember, it's your choice. You can pick up your flowers yourself at Belos Flowers, or Belos Flowers will deliver them for you. And remember, they have Inferno Ice Melt in stock and Cubics wood pellets to keep you warm this Valentine's Day.
That's the voice of Joe Callahan, perhaps one of the more courageous broadcasters I know, who actually said the words potted orchids on the air.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, I don't know. I thought you were saying potted something else there for a moment. Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kathy LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket.
All right, and I did want to make mention that last time I spoke with Kathy, she reminds everybody that Facebook page, you might find it convenient, you might have some fun with it now and then, but let me tell you, the Facebook page is big. It's where you get all the announcements, including the one we haven't been talking much about on the radio, the expansion of the Honey Shop over there at Park Square. They are taking new digs and expanding within the same building. You'll still go in the same door, though, for the yummy stuff that you go in for normally at the Honey Shop. All right, and as my dear friend Romeo Berthium used to say, now the forecast. The National Weather Service continues their winter storm warning for the rest of the day today.
Snow mainly before 3 p.m. The snow could be heavy at times, high of 33, northeast winds gusting almost to 40 miles per hour, and new snow accumulations 6 to 10 inches possible. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 24 as the storm clears out. Wednesday, sunshine and 32. Thursday, sunshine and 38 degrees. Thursday night, a 70% chance of more snow coming in and lots of wind as well. Friday, mostly sunny and 37. Saturday, another chance of some snow during the day, mostly cloudy and 34. Sunday, sunny and 32. And Washington's birthday Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 41 degrees.
Presently outside our Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio. By the way, all branches of Navigant Credit Union are closed today in the interest of the safety of our members and our staff. All branches are closed of Navigant Credit Union. Will open regular time tomorrow. And outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio, temperature continues to climb here. It's 35.6 degrees. One moment, please. Just talk amongst yourselves for a moment, and let's see if we have Joe Callahan back on the line. Is that
Hopefully
Joe Callahan back
Joe.
on the line? Okay, good. That's important because, you know, we want to have Joe Callahan back on the line. We lost him during the course of the break. And as I was telling Melissa, see, don't ever compliment anybody because they hang up on you. All righty. So Joe is on the line from his spacious domicile in Massachusetts, and Linda Thibault is here from North Smithfield watching the snowfall.
I am.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Beautiful.
All right.
It's still beautiful.
It certainly is. So I promised everybody, I teased you on how much things are changing in the broadcasting industry, at least, and in television in particular. Joe, you probably remember when we first started broadcasting on the internet here at ON Radio. Mm-hmm. And we quickly developed it into a television enterprise and a television division that is its own freestanding company and doing quite well, as a matter of fact. So we're pretty happy about that. But let's face it, not everybody has considered streaming television to be a viable thing. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, that's not really television. Just like, oh, yeah, well, that's cable. That's not real television. It's not over-the-air television. But I have to report to you that in 2024, all the barriers from the different delivery methods seem to be melting away. Because
is that a good thing?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But it makes it very difficult for people who are keeping track of superlatives. Let me explain. The story here is undated, and it says Super Bowl 58, that's the one that happened Sunday night, was, quote, the most watched telecast ever.
Yeah,
period.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Because no longer are they just going by the over-the-air viewing audience, or the over-the-air and the cable viewing audience, but also the over-the-air cable and streaming, live streaming audience, and now they're lumping in all the replays as well.
Oh.
Oh,
Which means that this is going to become very difficult for superlatives. You can have somebody, a program, you could have reruns of My Mother the Car end up being the most watched television show ever because you're counting all the people who go and look at the old YouTube renderings and laugh. So anyway, but that's what it is. Sunday's matchup between Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers drew an average of 123 million average viewers across all platforms. That's the term they use now. Across all platforms.
Yep.
CBS, the over-the-air network, drew 112 million of that 123, the largest audience in history for a single network broadcast.
Wow.
What do you know, huh?
well, let me ask Melissa a question about that. Do you think that's the Taylor Swift influence?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. Yeah. But
So-
that's
so-
why
so
those
for all-
commercials do so well.
Right.
Now, since they can only count the television sets or computers or smartphones or whatever else they're using, right?
Yeah.
Since they can only count them, over 200 million viewers are extrapolated since multiple people were watching the same screens.
Of course.
Over 200 million viewers watched all or part of the game across all networks as well.
That would
That's
be part
up-
for me, but yes, that's accurate.
Yeah, up 10% from last year which previously held the record last year because, you know, everything that happens from now on is going to make a record because now they're counting more
Well, if it doesn't,
possibilities.
then it just won't be a story. Right? You won't hear about it next year if folks don't watch. But I do think it's the Taylor Swift effect, and I think, you know, for all the haters who are like, oh yeah, she's ruining football, but she's not doing anything except just being
She's just
there.
sitting there watching a game.
Haters gonna hate, but you know what? She brought in more viewers.
Same as
So-
people saying
A lot more
Walmart,
viewers.
Walmart
Yeah.
is ruining stores. No, Walmart is doing what they do well, and people are going there, and so you can't blame Walmart for all that. Believe me, but you can't blame Taylor Swift for how many people were interested in seeing something on the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good for.
she was only up for 3 or 4 seconds at a time. By
yeah,
the way,
Yeah.
seriously, I mean, I saw twice where she was on, and both of them were on a recorded loop. They weren't live as it was
Yeah,
happening.
right.
They did the game live as it was happening. They got her reaction, put it in a recorder. Oh, we've got 3 seconds. Go, put it in. And we didn't hear who won how much money from the gamblers, you know, with all the over-unders and
Oh,
how many
that's
Taylor
right.
Swifts and stuff like that.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. Everybody's talking about it, so we're talking about it here, friends. So
Folks
there
will
you go.
gamble on anything, like anything.
Well, gamblers will gamble on anything. Me, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either, but
And by the way, in case you didn't notice, the last line in that story was, the Chiefs beat the 49ers 25-22. Just in case. I want to be complete about this. I don't want to
In case
give you
you
half the
missed
story. Speaking of the stories, the wire's been down since 2 a.m. Our news
Not
wire
good, huh?
has been down
Yeah.
since 2 a.m.
oh no.
Can you imagine that? My goodness.
Ugh.
Oh, boy. So, Linda,
Yeah.
they closed the senior center today because you wouldn't come.
No,
The Gaston AA Out Senior Center is closed today.
Yeah. Well, and actually, if it were open, I would have been down there at the top class this morning at 10 o'clock.
So I was
But,
thinking of you, yeah.
You know, I always tell people, stay home. Please don't go out there, slip and break a hip. You know, it was different when I was in the hospital setting. I would have been at, there a half an hour before shift just to make sure I had enough staff and all. But now I just sit here and watch how beautiful it is. And that's what I learned. People that go to the senior
That's
center
kind of
do
nice.
as
That's
well.
kind of like the difference between having, raising your own children and then being a grandparent.
Exactly.
There's a
Exactly.
certain attitude difference, right?
Right, absolutely. It wouldn't be safe. It's not worth people getting in an accident or slipping and falling, and so it was a wise thing to do. Close it, for sure.
Well, not everybody can do it, though. And you know that because you lived that. I've been living it.
Well, I lived it.
You gotta show up.
I was at Fogarty Hospital for 18 years. I had to be there, and I was.
Right.
But now I don't.
Yeah, and other people do, so I'm sure they're there.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Recently, I had an opportunity to go to Landmark, and I have never seen that hospital look more smart and professional than it does today, and I have never seen it look bad. Now, others perhaps have, because every organization, every institution has its better days and lesser days. But I haven't personally witnessed a bad day at Landmark. I've seen them under stress and duress, and they still are a bunch of angels running around trying to get people patched up and out of there just as quick as possible and back home. And so, but they're at it again, and you got people there who just go way above what they have to do to be pleasant, to keep talking, to try to put you at ease and things like that. Very, very nice. So I just thought I'd mention that because you mentioned Fogarty too. It was very good experiences at Fogarty as well back when they were doing the regular hospital type of deal.
Right.
And all the people who do have to go to work today, my heart goes out to you. I'm right there with you. and we can't sit around and just watch the snowfall. It's important that we get to our job. Something has to keep the world turning. Somebody has to keep the world turning, and like that. But right now, I don't see it being a threat to anybody to drive around. It's just going to get rotten later on. But if you had to go someplace, I don't know.
Go get milk and bread.
That was yesterday.
But if you didn't,
when we were talking 16 inches of snow, that was yesterday.
Yeah. Right.
I was at I was picking up supplies for yesterday, because that's what you have to do the day before the storm.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to be stuck here during the day. Things like that. All right, it's coming up close to the quarter of break. I think we're going to take it early, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the WWE and one of its wrestlers. And while I have no interest in the WWE, there are those who do, and I know that Linda's a big fan. So we'll be back in just a few moments here with more of Coffee Ann.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
Hi everyone, this is Bill Schneck with the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. I am very happy to announce that on Thursday, February 22nd, there will be a benefit dinner at Cello's Restaurant, 490 Clinton Street, here in Woonsocket. Take your family out to dinner at Cello's or order takeout to enjoy at home from Cello's, and up to 20% of your dinner order value, excluding tax and tip, will be donated to Autumn Fest, Inc. Please pick up your free Autumn Fest dinner certificates for Cellos at this radio station, WOON Radio, 985 Park Avenue here in the city, or any member of the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. One certificate will cover your entire group. Certificates will not be available at Cellos that night. I look forward to seeing you and your family down at Cellos Restaurant for dinner on Thursday night, February 22nd. And as always, I greatly appreciate your ongoing support of Autumn Fest. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. And there's your update on the snow. As we look at it, it's coming down pretty steadily right now and accumulating. Traffic is still light on the roads. Linda Tebow and Joe Callahan are on the telephone. Melissa Murray joined us in the studio over here. And I have this story from Portland, Oregon. Joe, you're a big fan of the WWE too, aren't you?
I like to keep up to date on what they're doing.
Keep up to date. Yeah. Former professional wrestler. If I said his name, would you know him? William Haynes.
Yes.
Better known by his ring name, Billy Jack Haynes.
That's right. You know why?
He shot his wife.
No.
Last week.
Oh, he did? Oh,
yeah.
my gosh. That I didn't hear.
Oh, you didn't know about that. All right.
No.
Well, the way you would have known him before I just said that he got himself in trouble, Haynes wrestled back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
And he was known for his feuds with Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yes.
And Hercules Hernandez.
Yes.
Back when it was WWF and real wrestling.
Well, I don't know about that.
Don't know if it's ever been real wrestling, huh? All right. Anyway, but seriously, what? Go ahead.
Do you know why he was called Billy Jack Haynes?
No.
He had a similar resemblance to the guy in the movies Billy Jack.
Oh, yeah?
So he would wear, if you remember that movie, those movies, Billy Jack had that hat he would used to wear, kind of
the Indian hat, almost like
Billy
a derby,
Jack,
but not a derby.
Yes.
Wide
but
brim
Billy
derby.
Jack Haynes would wear that into the ring, too, to keep the image going.
Ah.
So that's why he called himself Billy Jack Haynes.
I get it. Well, it says right here, the cops say he shot his wife, Jeanette Beecraft, last week and then barricaded himself inside the home, surrendering to police after about 2 hours afterwards, and like that. So he's gone off the deep end, that one.
Wow.
Did she die?
Well, it doesn't say. It says shot his wife, Jeanette Beecraft. I read it word for word. It doesn't say.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Well, further in, he's accused of killing his wife in Portland. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's what I call going off the deep end.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep. So he's been out of the spotlight for quite a while.
Well, certainly, yeah. What was the last
maybe
time?
we-
It was like the late 80s, so that would have been
yeah.
35 years maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have no idea what he's been doing since then. So, wow. Not
Yep.
good.
All right. Well, your inch count, by the way, is topped over 2 inches of standing snow here on Park
Okay.
Avenue. Yeah, but and what prompts people to do this? We don't know. Then in our
Head injuries.
you think so?
I do, yeah. I mean,
Sound just like my mother.
but no, I mean, when you get multiple head injuries, you can't literally.
She didn't want me to watch the Three Stooges on TV.
We talked about that. Yeah, that's funny. Those were the best. But when you sustain, like, your brain literally gets knocked around in your head.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's got a nice cushion.
It's not good. It's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
People
I imagine
who
if it
sustain
gets
multiple head injuries sometimes, go off the deep end, so to speak, because they get brain injury and it yeah.
Well,
Melissa is absolutely right. And another thing that we need to think about too with people like that. Many times, people when they're trying to build muscle, they're on steroids and stuff.
Oh, right.
And that can also alter brain activity.
Yep,
Or,
yep.
some mean streaks and wild streaks as well. But you're right. Head
well, yeah,
injuries
but that's a
make
traumatic
difference.
brain injury. I mean, the stuff they get at the
Right.
3WE here, that's not a. I mean, that's okay. You're getting banged around. You know it's coming. You've practiced it before. There's a certain amount of pulling to the punches that goes on. I don't see that as the same as
sure,
something
but-
like, well, let's mention Bill Belisle, the late Bill Belisle. Everybody knows that he took a nasty head blow on the ice because he didn't know someone was sliding into him out of control
Yeah, that
and
happens
knocked him
too.
off his pins. And
Right.
his head hit the ice first. And you talk about anger episodes after that. Poor Bill suffered from that.
Yeah.
Oh, a guy who was always firm but fair now would rant occasionally and do things that, later on he'd have to take back. So yeah, I get that brain injury, but I never saw what they do in the wrestling ring as brain injury. I just don't see that.
Well, hold on for a
Yeah,
minute,
but
Dave.
sometimes you don't see the mistakes, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Accidents.
Yeah.
Like accidental boo-boos that happen.
Okay,
And-
I can see
There-
that.
And if
Yeah.
you look at the muscle,
There were-
some of those things,
There
steroids-
were a number of wrestlers that banded together to sue World Wrestling Entertainment just for that issue, that they weren't protected.
Right.
Although the lawsuit was eventually thrown out. What the wrestling people have actually done, and they used to do this, they would take folding metal chairs into the ring
Yeah.
and hit themselves over the head with it.
Right.
They don't do that anymore.
Right.
No, because they
of the
bleed.
head. No, because of the concussion issue.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right.
So if you watch it, they've stopped doing that, and they still hit each other in the back. But you just can't protect yourself from a shot from the chair to the head.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no protective gear, right? So
Right.
Except for the metal plate some of them have after all that. All right. Well, okay. I get it.
I'm not excusing it. But
Well, no.
it does happen. It happens in all sports, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, then there's that. Well, I don't know. They've characterized this person as a transgender, as a male, as a female. Grabbed a 7-year-old kid, walked into, I think it was a church, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Mega church.
And started shooting the place up, and themselves were killed by off-duty police officers. The young 7-year-old boy that was with them also was killed with a bullet to the head. And so, wow. But it doesn't take being in the WWE to go off the deep end.
That is true. That
right.
mental health. We talk about this all the time when stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And mental health is a huge, huge, huge issue today. Huge. Folks aren't just. There's so much stigma still. I think Linda will agree with me that there's still like so much stigma, even though we know that, folks have difficulty, you need help, or you're just having a hard time, you should talk to somebody. But there's so much stigma around it that, people still don't feel comfortable receiving help, or they don't have the means to get help, which is another whole problem in itself.
But there isn't a lot of help sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people can be helped, but there isn't a lot of help. There are a lot of people with sheepskins who are getting paid incredible amounts of money and not curing anybody. So this is where you had. And to make it worse, during our lifetimes, everybody on the panel, during our lifetimes, we've seen mental health counseling now be subsidized by insurance.
Yeah.
And so the sky is the limit. Anybody, who can suffer through the classes can hang up a shingle and talk out problems with people. Maybe they help, maybe they don't. Just like your brother or sister might be able to talk to you about something going on in the family, and it might help, it might not help. And so, you just don't know if somebody is going to go nuts on you or something like that. So it's like saying you should never be wary of strangers, because they're nice people too. Give them a chance. And then you have somebody who walks into a church and starts shooting things up. I mean, then there's no credibility. When one side of society is preaching this, the other side of society is dealing with the reality that the first side is Pollyanna, unrealistically optimistic. And, what are you going to do? Your advice, Linda.
Well, what Melissa was saying, that mental health issues are still a major problem. And to compound it, very few people are going into the health profession, let alone there's such a scarcity of mental health professionals around to help treat people. So I think that's a big part of it as well. But there's still a stigma. Melissa is absolutely right. And it's hard to find somebody now. It really is hard to find somebody to try to help these folks, and especially in the schools.
Right.
Well,
getting the help early. Yep.
Well, right, exactly. But to be in the health profession now, it's not a pretty sight. It's not like when I first got into nursing, and when people got into the healthcare professions before. It's really very difficult. Reimbursement to them is
that's
very bad.
That's a number one issue, I think.
All of the above things contribute to this problem.
Well, Linda, you might agree with me. I mentioned earlier that it was a little difficult for me to do a radio broadcast during a major snowstorm and not be reading the list of cancellations, which I've done since I entered the business back in the 70s. And I have to say that I analyzed that for just a moment, and I said to myself, well, I think everybody wants to feel like they make a difference. And whatever you do for your work, whatever you do in life, any effort that you put in, you like to think that something is better because you were there, and that you had something special to offer, and that it was you who made a contribution. Would everybody agree?
Absolutely.
Sure.
And when I would get on the air and say no school in Woonsocket, I felt like I was making somebody happy. I was conveying information that was important to them, and I was singularly in the position to do it. And I did my job, and I did it well, and I took some satisfaction in that. And that's probably what I was missing this morning in not doing that. However, I'm responsible for building the enterprise that gave them the information over the internet instead of over the radio waves. So there's all those things that go into it. But Linda, when you were nursing, I think if not you, then most everybody you knew basically got into nursing because it was something you could be good at and you would feel like you made a difference to somebody else, right?
Oh, absolutely. You
Right.
wanted to help people and make a difference. Absolutely.
And you don't always get the chance to make a difference every day. It's something like a baseball player. A baseball player goes out, and some days they made a difference in the game, and some days they didn't, but they showed up and tried anyway and made themselves available for that to happen. but there's something about the hidden part of your brain. It is so connected to your soul and your spirit that is different and can't be seen, can't be controlled except by you, really. It can be influenced by chemicals, but it can really only be controlled and used by you, and then someone on the outside seeking to help you control it and having varying amounts of success. This is where we come from, and this is why people don't trust it. I know, listen, if I was, and this has happened, I've even told people, I said, geez, Dave, you're always looking on the bright side of things. Well, generally, I've trained myself to try to look at the bright side of things most of the time. Luckily, at this point in my life, I've been through enough bad that I've seen the good that comes at the end. And so I remind myself of that while I'm suffering with the bad and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But just to reach the point, it's, sometimes I get glum. And sometimes I get, oh, geez. And that's usually when I will go off by myself and have a really good talk with myself and come back out feeling a little better and ready to go into the fight again. But I cannot imagine going to a paid professional that doesn't know me, has no idea about my life or my past or anything else like that, and wants to talk to me about all that stuff and use 300-year-old ideas to try to solve today's problems. Well, okay, that might be successful, but I'm not eager to do that. Do you get me?
Go ahead, Linda.
Well, the thing is, I think people like you and I and the people on the panel, we may have bad times. I know we all have, but our brain is wired that we can take care of ourselves. The people that are really suffering from mental health issues, really need that trained professional, and the trained professionals are few and far between, and they're not using 300-year-old methods, because we do have some bright young folks that are out there in the world trying to help. And you know what? I never did psych nursing. Mine was always acute care. It was with the physical. And with the physical issues, you do make a difference. You see the change. You get rewarded. The mental health issues are slowly help. Medications can help. Counseling, certainly counseling is huge. But, we still need those people. And once in a while, even people like you and me could use the help of a medical professional. I know when I had a tragedy in my life, I was a smart young nurse. I knew lots about everything in the medical profession, and I sought the help of a counselor at a tragic time in my life. And I wasn't embarrassed to say I did, and I'm not embarrassed to say I did on the air. So,
yep,
same here. Question.
Yep. Yeah, I think that, and particularly, well, you don't have to have a physical ailment to get there, but I think there's been so during COVID, I had a really tough time.
Many people did.
But also physically, I have been since diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and but at that point, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I only knew that I hurt everywhere, and I literally could not get out of bed. And that takes a toll on your mental health. You don't have to get to that point to need counseling. But I also know that, I sought professional help, and the person that I talked to first, it wasn't a good fit, and that person wasn't helping me. And so I knew enough to say, okay, we're not meshing. I need to talk to somebody else. And I did, and that helped greatly. So when you find it's also you need to find somebody that you mesh with. The first person that I talked to was not that person, but yeah, absolutely, and it helped tremendously. But that along with getting a medication and trying to find the right balance for me. But absolutely, there are multiple times in my life where I have struggled with depression, and I've sought help, and it has helped me.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. It's not a sign of weakness.
Oh, no, not at all. It
It's
can
not
happen
a
to
sign of
anybody.
weakness.
Yep.
It is. And I think men have more problems with that than women. I know I'm a very strong person.
Let's
as
not be
people that
sexist,
know me.
lady. Different personalities have more trouble with it.
Well, that is true. That is true across the board, and I know a lot of men who have sought mental health professionally, and women who needed it who didn't. But yeah, it is.
Well,
it's all up to an individual choice. But if you find yourself in that position, yeah, you should seek help and see if
Don't
it
be
helps
afraid
you.
to ask for help. That's the thing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness. In my work with the veterans, I see it a lot too.
Absolutely.
The PTSD and all, and so
yes, PTSD is.
It's okay to ask for help. Would you agree, Melissa?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to ask for help.
Well, for myself, I try to be a tonic for most people and try to spread cheer and happiness and stuff like that, and take your mind off your troubles for a few moments, because that can't hurt anybody. And I do count myself as very much blessed that I have Dr. Denise in my home. So
absolutely.
That young lady, she will just
Having someone to talk to, absolutely. Yeah. But sometimes in some
Be
families,
connected, right.
you don't have that.
That's right. Sometimes you might not. I'm very much blessed to
Sometimes you
have
might
Denise
not.
for all these many years. Somebody who will look at me and just stare at me. When I'm talking to her, I might be venting about something, and she'd just stare and talk and not say a doggone word, and she'd just look at me and wait for me to continue. I said, "It's not that big a deal, is it?" No.
Right. Sometimes you just need someone to vent to, and that's important too.
She says, "You'll be fine. You'll be fine."
Yeah. Having that person is important.
You know what you have to do, Dave. So, yeah, it's good that we have that. All right, listen, we have to go. We're a few minutes over here, and we certainly don't want to put anyone else on a delayed basis. So let's get right to final comments around the table. We'll go to Ms. Linda Tebow.
Well, everybody, take a moment to look outside. It's beautiful, but stay safe.
You bet. Joe.
In case you didn't know, after the halftime show, Usher and his longtime partner went and got married in Vegas. So,
they did.
Congratulations.
How wonderful is that? He didn't even stick around to watch the game?
Well, it just says after his Super Bowl halftime show, him and his long-term partner, Jenna something, went off and got married by an Elvis impersonator.
Oh, that's
Elvis
great.
impersonator.
I brought that up the other day. And neither one were named Taylor or Travis. But
that's right. Yeah, so they got it for free.
So they didn't get it. They had to pay. But
had to pay.
Good for them, though. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We'll catch you back here at the ranch tomorrow, okay?
Absolutely.
Very good. And Melissa.
Stay safe, everyone. Check on your neighbors. And if you don't have to go out today, don't.
And I'll remind you, folks, that if you feel it's safe and you feel that you can go somewhere, then please do go somewhere, because we have a lot of advertisers out there hoping to see you. We just want to remind everybody that, yes, we like to give you the words of caution and the rest of that stuff, but there are times when it is time to go out. And if it is safe to do so, then pass it on, because we will pass along any government reports of safety that we come to our knowledge. Make it a good. If you missed any portion of today's broadcast, pick it up on demand at woonsocketRadio.com. Coming up next, we have Gary Smith at least with the Do You Remember show. We don't know about the crew. We'll find out as time goes along. Tune in at 9:30 and find out just who shows up for Do You Remember. But Gary's already in the building.
Is in the building, yeah.
Yeah, be safe, folks, and make it a good day.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
The MBTA may start offering discounted fares to low-income riders by this summertime. The NPR station in Boston that reports this say that agency officials said the program could be finalized at next month's meeting of the T's Board of Directors. Under the proposed plan, fares would be cut in about half for adults 25 to 65 who make 200% or less of the federal poverty level. The National Weather Service has